Hello, welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. As always, I'm Zero Yeti, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right into it. Oh, well, with the exception of Happy Holidays to those who celebrate holidays surrounding the winter solstice. I know Hanukkah's already passed. I believe Kwanzaa is still going. Christmas is in a few days. Not to mention you have things like Yule and Saturnalia. There's a bunch of different holidays all around the winter solstice because winter solstice is one of those luminal times where it just seems like you should have a celebration around that area. The first animal on the list is the fly river turtle, or the pig-nosed turtle. It is, I believe, the only freshwater member of the sea turtle family. It has flipper-like forelegs and webbed hind legs and a shell covered with soft, leathery skin. It is well adapted to aquatic life. Its soft leathery skin of a shell, similar to that of softshell turtles, with the exception of it does have like the bony plastron and not just the ribs, like you would see with a softshell turtle. They're called fly river turtles after a river they inhabit in Papua New Guinea, but they're also found elsewhere, including other areas of Papua New Guinea and northern Australia and a few other islands in southern Indonesia. They typically inhabit coastal areas such as mangrove swamps as well as freshwater rivers. They can be seen feasting on fruits and nuts that fall into the water from overhanging trees, as well as hunting various vertebrates such as snails, shrimps, crabs, insects, and the occasional fish. They themselves are preyed upon by crocodiles, sharks, monitor lizards, and large snakes. Next up is the Asiatic cheetah or the Iranian cheetah. It is a critically endangered cheetah subspecies that diverged from the African subspecies around 67,000 years ago. Although it was once widespread from the Arabian Peninsula to the foothills of the Himalayas over in India, the wild population survives today only in Iran. It typically has a lighter fawn-colored but more insulating coat than its African counterpart. They are still amongst the fastest land animals on Earth, capable of reaching speeds anywhere from 50 to 80 miles per hour. It as such has several adaptations for speed, including its light, ooh, its light build, long thin legs, a long tail, and non-retractable claws that help in gripping, kind of like cleats do. Sorry, my cat is being annoying because we're talking about cats and it's not about her right now. They use their impressive speed of once again like 80 miles an hour to prey upon medium to small size herbivores, including the chinchara, the goitered gazelle, the wild sheep, the wild goat, the black buck, and the Cape hare. Despite being a danger in modern times, it was frequently depicted in antiquity, where it was called the hunting leopard, a name derived from ones that were kept in captivity in large numbers by Indian royalty and used for hunting wild game such as antelope. People, where pe- Basically, in antiquity, people, royalty, and peasant alike raised cubs as hunting companions. A similar pseudo domestication was done by Egyptians to the African subspecies. Next up is the gold dust day gecko, which is a diurnal species of gecko, which means they're active during the day. Their body color is typically bright green or yellowish green, with sometimes, albeit rarely, a slightly blue hue. There are often red and yellow speckles around the neck and upper back, giving them their namesake appearance of looking like they've been dusted with some kind of metal. These geckos are native to northern Madagascar and on the island of Comoros. They have since been introduced as an invasive species to the islands of Hawaii and the Seychelles. They are typically seen in houses and various trees. These day geckos often feed on various insects and other invertebrates like worms, but are also capable of eating vertebrates such as amphibians and even other smaller lizards. They also eat soft, sweet fruit and pollen where they collect nectar and they help pollinate the flowers. You can often see them congregating in groups around like a cut open fruit, to all feed off of it together. Okay, the reindeer is also known as the caribou in North America. It is a species of deer with a circumpolar distribution, native to the Arctic, the subarctic, the tundra, the boreal, and the mountainous regions of northern Europe, Siberia, Greenland, and North America. This includes both sedentary and migratory populations. Reindeer vary in size and color from the smallest, the Svalbard reindeer, to the largest, which is the boreal woodland caribou. North American range of caribou extends from Alaska through the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut, into the boreal forest and south through the Canadian Rockies and the Columbian and Selkirk Mountains. The barren ground caribou, porcupine caribou, and prairie caribou live in the tundra, while the shy boreal woodland caribou prefer boreal forests. The porcupine caribou and the barren ground caribou form large herds and undertake lengthy seasonal migrations from their birthing grounds to their feeding grounds. These migrations are amongst the longest and largest of any animal on Earth, especially land animals such as mammals. Arctic people have long depended on the caribou for food, hunting, clothing, and shelter, such as the Caribou Inuit, the Caribou clan in the Yukon, the Inupiat, the Inuvialuit, the Han, and the northern Tutchkanu, and the Gwich'in. Domestication is the primary difference between a caribou and a reindeer. Reindeer are domesticated while caribou are wild. So it's kind of like horses. Hunting and herding of semi-domesticated reindeer are important to several Arctic and subarctic peoples throughout Europe and Asia. Particularly the Sami people, or the Sapmi people of Scandinavia, have depended on reindeer herding for centuries. Up next is the Cuban crocodile, which is a small to medium species of crocodile found only in the island of Cuba. Large males can reach about 11 feet in length and weigh about 400, 500 pounds. Despite its modest size, it is considered to be the most aggressive as well as arguably the most intelligent crocodilian. The Cuban crocodile is of interest to biologists for its unique physical and behavioral traits. It's got long, strong legs that it uses to walk around on land and is the most terrestrial of extant crocodiles. Its preferred habitat comprises of freshwater environments such as marshes and rivers. They typically feed upon small fish, reptiles, and mammals, but have been known to form packs in order to take down larger prey such as sharks, large turtles, the larger American crocodile that frequently shares territory with, flamingos, pigs, cattle, and other feral livestock. There is even evidence of Cuban crocodiles preying on giant ground sloths and other megafauna during the last ice age. The hyacinth macaw, or it's the hyacinth macaw, is a parrot native to Central and Eastern South America. With a length of about 3.5 feet, it is longer than any other species of parrot, and it is the largest macaw and the largest flying species of parrot, although the largest species of parrot goes to the ground-dwelling kakapo of New Zealand, which can weigh over 8 pounds. Habitat loss is especially due to rampant widespread wildfires, and the trapping of wild birds for the pet trade has taken a heavy toll on wild hyacinth macaw populations, and so the species is classified as vulnerable to extinction. The majority of hyacinth macaw diet is on fruit and Brazil nuts from native palms and other trees. They have remarkably strong beaks that can easily crack all manner of seeds and nuts, even up to coconuts. Limited tool use has been observed in this bird in both wild and captive populations. They typically are seen using leaves and wood to help grip the fruit or apply leverage to help open nuts. And lastly, we have our extinct animal of the week. Deodicarus is an extinct species of glyptodont and are close relatives of modern-day armadillos. Being a glyptodont, it was a rotund animal with heavy armor and a thick carapace, averaging approximately around 3,000 pounds. It was roughly the size of a modern-day common hippopotamus. It may have lived in a similar way, with we have some evidence of some glyptodonts living semi-aquatically, as they seem to be fairly strong swimmers, which most armadillos surprisingly are. Deodicarus is remarkably, it can be told the difference between Deodicarus and other glyptodonts by its notable namesake, which is its large, sported, spiked tail club, which the club itself may have weighed anywhere from 80 to 150 pounds, depending on the individual. They probably use this to swing in defense against predators or in fights with other Deodicarus for territory. They could swing these at a speed of about 25 miles per hour and could probably break bone with it. Deodicarus existed during the Pleistocene. Before this, South America had been isolated from the rest of the world, uh, which resulted in a lot of weird, wonderful evolution. In other parts of the world where you were getting horses, you got camels in South America. You were getting elephants and giraffes. In South America, you got giant ground sloths and giant armadillos. You had terror birds were the apex predators compared to cats in other places. Uh, but that isolation and weirdness kind of stopped taking place because of the formation of the Isthmus of Panama, which allowed North American megafauna to invade South America in the Great American Interchange. This included big cats, bears, elephants, and horses, but in exchange, several reptile species, birds, camels, giant sloths, and armadillos invaded North America. Deodicarus seems to have inhabited a relatively cold but humid Chacoan Papuan plains of the northeastern Patagonia and may have been one of the last surviving species of glyptodont, with remains suggesting, with the most recent remains being around 8,000 to possibly 7,000 years ago. It most likely went to extinct to some combination of the changing of climate and overhunting by humans, as we have evidence of mass graves of glyptodons where humans managed to trap a herd or flip them to go off a cliff and then utilize their parts. We also have evidence of them utilizing parts to build shelters because you have giant carapace. These things are the size of a Volkswagen Bug. Like, of course, you're going to use the carapace for something. Anyway, take care, guys, gals, non binary pals.